Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. Now, I run this YouTube channel. But on this particular episode, I will need you to help me make sense of the case I'm about to present to you because I don't understand it. Yes, you heard me right. I am presenting this true crime episode to you, but I still can't appreciate how come things played out the way they did. If you know how, or if you can give me any explanation to help me appreciate it, please do so in the comment section because I am just perplexed. Now, the true crime story is coming to you from Nigeria in West Africa. And this is how it has played out. It started with a lady at a university, a student actually, who had an exam the next morning. And she was putting in the work trying to study and prepare herself for the exam. Now, this lady's name is Tangsan Nansokaan Paksohot. Forgive me if you are not familiar with the name, but it's an African name. So let's just call her Tangsan. Now, this female student, Tangsan, is a student of the University of Jos, popularly called Jos in Nigeria. And she had an exam the following day, so she was putting in the work trying to prepare adequately by studying for this exam. Honorable, right? Exactly. Very good. And this was on the 11th of January 2024. So she was trying to ace her exam. But then, in her hostel where she was studying, she had a neighbor who is also a student by name Nember. Now, Nember is also a student of the same university and in his second year. Now, Tangsan was trying to put in the studies, and it so happens that Nember, her adjacent neighbor who is also a student, was in his room in that hostel playing music, but playing it very loudly. As is expected, him playing the loud music became very uncomfortable for Tangsan because it turns out that Tangsan couldn't study with that loud music playing in the background. And as such, Tangsan confronted Nember to reduce the volume of the music he was playing. When she went to confront him, it turns out that Nember was not alone. He was actually with his friends in his room and they were playing this music loudly and they were vibing to it. Yeah, here in Africa or here in Ghana, someone would say boys stuff. But I respect the fact that it's a nuisance actually because it's excessive noise and it's a hostel and there are students who are trying to study, some are trying to sleep. So peace of mind and peace of environments free of such noise is also valuable to those who are trying to look for some peace, quiet, and serenity. So I understand why Tangsan would want the music volume to be reduced, but Nember refused to reduce the volume. This began to infuriate Tangsan, who was very determined to pass her exam and was trying her best to study. So, in retaliation, and this is where the whole thing starts going crazy. In retaliation for Nember refusing to reduce the volume of the song, Tangsan, when exiting Nember's room, got a padlock and locked Nember and his friends in that room. And she went to her room to try and continue her studies. Now, this didn't go well with Nember because she had actually locked them in the room and they couldn't come out. So they started making noise and raising an alarm to get her to free them. And they doing that also created extra noise in addition to the loud music, which had the additional impact of making it even more difficult for Tangsan to concentrate on her studies. So just like that, you can see that the whole situation was now escalating. And it didn't end there. Because after making so much noise, trying to draw the attention of other residents in the hostel to get Tangsan to come and unlock the padlock so they could come out. She finally came and unlocked the padlock, but then Nember was not happy with what she had done, and so were his friends too. So when they were released from the room, they went to Tangsan's room to confront her to find out the audacity with which she decided to lock them up in their own room with her padlock. And this is where it reached the tipping point, because unfortunately, when Nember entered Tangsan's room to confront her about that, it infuriated her even more. And before anyone could blink, Tangsan, the female student who is actually preparing for her exam, just reached for her kitchen knife and stabbed Nember. And straight away it led to his demise. So, just like that, within a few hours, even less than an hour, a situation had escalated from a student wanting to study to being disturbed by another student playing loud music, to going to lock that student playing loud music in his room with her padlock, releasing them, and then fatally stabbing that student. All in just about an hour. That is how crazy things can get. And this is what I need you to help me appreciate. How did they get to that point? I don't get it. Especially to the point she's locking them in their room. There are legal implications to that. Not to talk about her using the kitchen knife on him. Now, I'm going to break it down per the little legal knowledge I know and the implications thereof. First of all, I appreciate the fact that the loud music being played by Nember, allegedly, could be deemed legally to have resorted to a nuisance. That in itself is against the law. At least here in Ghana, it's against the law. I don't know about Nigeria, but I'm suspecting it could be similar, because nuisance is quite similar across jurisdictions, and playing of very loud music could be one of that, depending on your jurisdiction. So in that vein, especially in a hostel where it's on an educational institution's premises and is deemed that students are there trying to study, I think Nember was out of place to do that. But then, what would follow from Tangsan, the female student trying to study, is even worse. Because first of all, she goes on to lock them up in that room with her padlock and keys. That is imprisonment. It's false imprisonment. Now, legally, it is against the law. She had no right to do that, and she would have questions to answer. I'm expecting the jurisdiction wouldn't be much of an issue, because that is against the law here in Ghana, and I'm expecting it will be similar in Nigeria as well. And then for her to go to the extent of using her kitchen knife on him when she finally freed them and he came to confront her was just an overkill, literally. And I'm trying to make sense of this. It's looking as though Tangsan was so infuriated she lost track of her senses. I don't know if it was all worth it, because in the end, per her actions, especially the final one that ended up taking Nember's life, she wouldn't be still able to write this exam. She still wouldn't be able to study for that exam, because she's now in the grips of the police. And it's just unfortunate. I know the preparation for the exam is important, in as much as the exam itself is important, but your life is more important. I'm thinking that she could have just moved away. She could have escalated the nuisance of the loud music to whoever was in charge of that premises. Or at best, she could have just moved to a library or moved to a different location to go and study. Why did they have to get to the point where she's locking them up in their room and confrontations escalate and she has to end up doing what she did and unaliving him in the process? I just don't get it. Sometimes you just have to just take a deep breath and walk away, because honestly, some things are not worth it, and it's very unfortunate. As it stands now, her life is ruined. She wouldn't even be able to graduate because she's in the grips of the law. Police are still investigating. Definitely, she will be charged with what she's done to Nember, and she's going to be tried and probably even sentenced. How does that go? You've missed the exam, you've missed your life, you've just destroyed your life, all because you just couldn't be a bit patient. Just help me understand how we got here actually. Please help me out in the comment section. I just can't appreciate this. But in the meantime, just go to the comment section and type RIP Nember, and let's send some love to the victim's family as we commiserate with them. It's very unfortunate. Kindly subscribe if you are yet to do so, turn on post notifications, and thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.